What we can do in our yoga practice is to, and in all of our exercise practices, is to consciously bring more awareness to the parts of our body that do not, that are smaller. So when I was working with the kids, what we were doing was actively strengthening these parts of our bodies so that they would become the same size as the parts that are bigger. And so to go a little bit more into it, so the nervous system allocates our brain power according to need. And when that, so regions of the body require high levels of conscious clearing. They have like a larger representation in the brain with more circuitry and a greater number of neurons per muscle group. So those are the hands, the tongue, and feet. And then the postural muscles like the psoas, so that muscle that wraps from like the hip bone all the way back around the pelvis and connects to the low back, that and the glutes, they get a very small representation in the brain. And so that's why it's really important that we're so mindful of what we're doing around the hip area. So today we're gonna focus on the low back and hip. So opening through the psoas. And I don't know, I know we typically keep this gentle and we will, but maybe strengthening the glutes a little bit. Do I have anybody who pushes against that?
I'm for it. We're here for it.
For me, I've had a lot of low back pain this past week. And I think I hear that all the time. I've actually been hearing it a lot lately. So, which is why I wanted to focus on that. So let's start on our backs. Letting our feet be wide and our knees drop in. And don't worry, we'll still keep it pretty gentle. Let your hands rest on your low belly. And so you should notice as your feet are wide and your knees are dropping in, you should notice a sense of relief in your low back. And you notice your low back pressing into the earth. And if you need to readjust, you might walk your feet forward away from your body a little bit more. Maybe you walk your feet even wider so that they're off of your mat. Just play around to find that ideal position. And then together we'll take 3 cleansing breaths. Fill up through the belly and the chest, breathing in through the nose. Exhale from the mouth to the side. Then take a big breath in, bottom to top. Let it go. One more, biggest breath of your day, hold at the top. And then let it go. Rest here for a moment. Noticing your hips getting heavy, your back getting heavy, shoulders, arms, your hands comfortably resting on your low belly. Feeling your breath. In this moment of pause, you might notice the sounds around you. You might notice what it feels like to pause for a moment after a day of movement. What it feels like to have nothing to think about other than this experience right here. What does it feel like to just be? No longer having to prove anything, to strive for anything. But just being right here. When you're ready, slowly start to windshield wiper your knees side to side. So you'll let your feet stay wide. And you might notice that each time you cycle your legs, that top knee gets a little bit closer to the ground. So with this movement, you should start to notice that opening through your hip flexor and psoas muscle. Pause for a moment. You might notice a stretch through your belly, maybe even along the obliques. And we'll all pause with our knees to our right. If you find that you don't feel so much of a stretch, lift your head up just for a moment to see if your left knee is in line with your day. If not, you might walk your left foot up the side a little bit. And then press your shoulders and head down. Okay, really bring your awareness to your thigh bone, your femur bone. And as you breathe in, imagine that your femur bone is being pulled gently out of your hip socket. As you breathe out, imagine it releasing, that left knee releasing down to the ground. So you inhale, you find that expansion, that slow release. Exhale, feeling the heavying of the leg. That one more time. And then be just right here for 3 more breaths. Might even actively allow belly breathing. Feeling your ribs expand as you breathe in. Contract as you breathe out. And your navel press into your palm as you breathe in. Pull away as you breathe out. And then gently come back to the center and over to the other side. And so we're coming into a static hold. But what I want you to notice is even though we're in stillness, your breath can still move you. You can still allow your body to go with that ebb and flow. So again, bringing your awareness to the femur bone. Maybe lifting your head up to check and see that knee is in line with your navel. And then inhale, allowing that leg to slightly pull out and away from the hip socket. Exhale, letting the leg get heavy. This is your own physical assist. Inhaling to extend. Exhaling to release. One more breath like that. Good, and then let yourself just be in this stretch. Noticing that each cycle of breath allows a little bit more space. Ready back to the center and hug your knees towards your chest. Pull up into a tight ball. We'll do just a little tiny bit of core work. So all of these things that we're doing today, as a reminder, are going to help to support the low back. So as you breathe in, I want you to extend your legs and extend your arms along your straighten your knees. And then breathe out, hug in. So breathe in and extend, and you might put your head rest on the ground if you'd like a little bit more support. Exhale, pull. We're just going to do that 3 more times. Let yourself move and breathe slowly. Feeling every part of this experience. Completed your cycle. Let your head and shoulders rest down and find happy baby. Hands on the outside of the feet. Arms might come to the inside of the knees, and maybe you sway side to side. Finding a moment of play before we drop into stillness. And then come to the center and bring your awareness for a moment to your neck. Keep your head on the ground, but tuck your chin toward your chest. Almost like you're trying to give yourself a double chin. That helps to lengthen the back of your neck. So we're a straight line from the bottom all the way to the top of our spine. And see about pressing your low back into the ground. So once again, finding that sensation that you found earlier when you were rocking. And find the bottom of your exhale. On your next inhale, breathe up the low back. Exhale, top to bottom. Rising all the way up, hovering at the top. And go top to bottom. One more time. Pull your knees back towards your chest, hands to the hamstrings. We'll gently rock up and down the spine a few times. So that should feel nice, like a little massage. If it doesn't, come straight up into a seat. And the rest of us are rocking. Do 3. Coming to our hands and knees. Let's turn our fingertips to face towards our knees. Finding a stretch on the front of your wrist, and you can either shift front and back, or maybe you draw some circles. I always like to try both options to see what I'm feeling like today. Each time you come to your mat, it's going to be a little bit different. What you're craving, what you're needing. Drawing circles, draw them in the other direction. So really bringing our awareness to every part of our body that we're working with today. Tuck your toes and lift your hands up into a ball. Take a big breath in and hold it at the top. Let it go with the sigh, releasing your hands by your side. Noticing that natural release of energy from your shoulders, down your arms, releasing from your fingertips. And we'll do it on the other side, so the top of your palms facing down. And either shifting front and back or drawing in small circles. So what can happen over a lifetime, what often does happen, is that, right, we move around in the world, we type on our keyboards, we look down at our phones, we drive our cars, we sleep in certain ways, and these movements become habitual. So that our brain just stops thinking about it all together. So we lose awareness of what we're actually doing. It's where injury comes into play. It's where low back pain happens because we're sitting in certain ways, standing in certain ways without even realizing it. So we can use this time on our mat to bring awareness back. Tuck your toes again. Sitting your heels or your hips on your heels. And once again, hands into a tight ball. Breathe in. Hold it at the top. And this time, sipping a little bit more.
Gonna change your mind.
See if you can hold it for 3 more counts. And let it go with the sigh release. Give your hands a little shake. side to side. And then try your front and back. Kind of silly, but like you really feel it when you do the whole little baby bird flap. Good. And then let that shake go all the way up to your arms, your shoulders, just releasing any stagnant energy that might have come up during the day. Good. All right, what do we feel about this glute work? Y'all want to do just a little tiny glute strengthening? Okay, let's do it. So these are ones that I've been working on lately, again, because my low back has super been talking to me. So we're gonna bring our left hand to the ground, our left forearm to the ground, right hand to the ground. Left forearm, right hand. That way there's not too much pressure on the wrist. So you might need to move over a little bit, Marianne, because then we're gonna lift our right leg, trying to bring the right knee in line with the hip. So I know it looks kind of funny. I learned this in Tae-Bo like 20 years ago, and I still love it. Okay, so we extend the knee and then bend it, pulling the foot in towards the butt. So extend it and then bend it in. Try to flex your foot, pressing through like you're gonna press the wall away from you. So not only is this really good for strengthening of the hips, but it's gonna be really good for the knee. Because how often do you actively completely bend and straighten the knee? So what we're doing here is adding hydration to the joint. We're just gonna go for 3 more. If you're starting to burn, pick up your breath. So released. Then on back onto your heels, take your hands into a fist. Go ahead and give your hips some love. Did y'all feel that? Yeah. We're not going to do like multiple sets of it because this isn't an aerobics class. But if you felt that burn, I really recommend doing them more regularly. When we sit so often, our glutes get weak and our hip flexors get tight. And then therefore there's where the pull on this around the psoas and the muscles around the low back. To the other side. So right forearm, left hand. Lift the left knee in line with the hip, flex the foot, and you kick the leg out, and then pull it in. Out. And then again, we move slowly, pausing for a moment at that extension, and a moment as you pull it in. Gives you an opportunity to feel the experience, to be in every part, but also, of course, gives that knee and thigh a little bit of work with the extension. We'll go for 3 more. 2, 3. Good, and then release and sit on back. Okay, that's the hardest part of this class today, just in honor of the awareness. Let's come to our seat. Okay. And extend the right leg. Pull the sole of the left foot into the inner thigh. Coming into Janu Sirsasana, head to knee. Take your right hand to your right butt cheek and pull it back to coming onto your sit bones. So when we sit higher above our sit bones, it allows us to find that tall spine. And then twist the navel so that it's facing towards your knee. Yeah, so hands on either side of the knee. Find that twist. And then inhale, lengthen. So press your part up. Exhale, walk your fingers forward just a few inches, keeping your spine long to start. And this might be where you start. Might be where you stay. Or you might take another breath in. Lengthen. Exhale, finger, tiptoe a little bit. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, lengthen, press your heart forward and up. Exhale, walking a little bit closer towards your feet. So at this point, you've probably found your max position. Take one more breath in. And on your exhale, round your spine, let your head drop. Let your chin drop to your chest. Forehead releases towards the hips, head to knee pose. Chanusirsasana. I'm gonna be here for 5 to 8 rounds of breath. See if you can allow your whole body to soften from your right foot. Letting it relax. Hands. No more reaching, no more grasping. You did the work in those 3 breaths of lengthening and extension. So now is the time just to drop in. Breathing into your low back. You might even find that breath where you let it rise from the bottom all the way to the top. Nice, student. Take 3 more breaths. On your next inhale, slowly lift up just halfway. Bring your left arm or your right arm on top of the shin or on the inside. Extend your left arm up, and maybe it goes over the ear. For me, I recently hurt my shoulder, all sorts of pain these days. So if it were me on the other side, I would just keep that top arm extended up. Just be mindful of your ability and of what you need right now and go there. All we're looking for is to get that extension on the left side body. So we'll take 3 breaths, but I'm going to guide you through it. Bring your awareness down to your left hip and breathe all the way out. As you breathe in, start from your left hip, let it rise up your left ribs, left shoulder, arm and fingertips. Pause at the top. Exhale from the fingertips down the arm, shoulder, lung, hip. Pause at the bottom. Inhale, left hip, lung, shoulder, arm, fingers. Exhale, top to bottom. One more time. On your inhale, slowly rise up, and you might press yourself up with that right hand. Very gentle to lift up. Place your left hand behind your left hips. Keep your legs as they are. We'll lift up into stargazer. So pressing into the feet, the foot, the knee to lift up. Right arm extends toward the ear, or maybe out to the side. And then exhale, hips lower, right hand comes down. I'm going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, big breath in front of the bottom. Exhale, once more. Beautiful. Love that one, right? It feels like you're just finally done with me. We'll switch sides. So sole of the right foot in. And in this part where we're working it, we want to flex that foot. So again, twisting so that your navel is facing towards your knee. And then inhale, you lengthen. It's like you have a string at the crown of your head pulling you up. Exhale, walk forward just a few inches and pause. Pausing long enough to notice. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, a few more inches. Maybe on this side, this is where you stay. Inhale. Exhale, if there's room, let yourself go there to your edge. One more big breath in, find that length. Exhale, drop. And again, scan your body. Letting your left foot relax. Your left leg relax. Hands and your shoulders. Then your head drop heavy. Noticing your breath. Noticing as your body naturally moves up and down as you breathe. 3 more. On your next inhale, rise up halfway. Left arm on the shin or on the inside of the leg. Extending that right arm either directly up. Maybe it comes over your knee. And also, if you have sensitive shoulders, another option, of course, is just to leave that right hand in your lap. It's actually what feels most comfortable to me on this side. And let your left ear drop to your shoulder. And again, we'll breathe through the right side. So all breath all the way out. Start to breathe in through your right hip, right lung, right shoulder, arm, fingertips hold at the top. Breathe out from the fingers, the arm, shoulder, lung, all the way out of the hip, hold at the bottom. 2 more times on your own. Looking at your challenge to see how slowly and fully you can breathe.
Oh, yeah.
Your own time, taking your left hand to the ground, gently pressing yourself up. Right hand behind you, inhale, hips lift, left arm extend, walk here. Exhale. 2 more times on your own, and you might see what it feels like to really pause. Left arm stretch. A few more minutes. Find pigeon. I promised that we would open through the hips. If you have knee sensitivity before you go into pigeon, you could also just cross one leg over the other and fold forward, and then when we switch sides, just opposite leg in front. Those of you who want to go in pigeon, we'll come into our hands and knees. And just shift that right leg forward so that the right ankle comes to the left hand, right knee to the right wrist. And that back leg extends. So we'll stay lifted for a moment. Lift up onto your back toes, like so you can lift your back knee. We'll shift that back knee back a little bit. Release it. Release the top of the foot. Find a little movement with it before we drop down completely. On the inhale, lift. The exhale, drop the heart and
You're breathe there. Then it's
inhale, round the body up. Exhale, slow. One more breath like that. Hold at the top, and squeeze your thighs together as our spine a bit forward. Pull your navel into the spine and sip in a little bit more air. Noticing as you do that, your body gets lighter, your body goes up. You exhale and let everything relax. Let your upper body release down. You might bring your hands into fist and support your forehead with stacked fist. Just giving you something for your head to rest on. Can I support you here? I'm gonna adjust you just a little bit. Shift this way. I'm gonna put it and move straight up. So you want your seat to be squared off now. Just a little bit more. Is that okay? Now I'm not flexing. Oh,
Thank you.
Easy, pause.
No.
Breathe with your neck.
No.
The next 3 breaths. See if your body can get a little bit heavy. So if you have your hands stacked, you might flatten them. Notice that in the time being here, your body has relaxed enough.
You can fold over.
Yeah.
Right now.
Ready? Hands under your shoulders. Slowly press yourself up. And then shift back into that tabletop. Extend your leg behind you. Give your little shake. Foot all the way up your calf, thigh, and your hips. Just releasing what came up on that side. And we'll switch to the other side. So left leg forward. You might notice that pigeon is okay on one side and not okay on the other knee. Again, this is where the general mind body awareness play. So if you find that, just kind of all in with me, lifting up onto your fingertip. Take a big breath in. Open up the chest. Inhale. One more big breath in. Put it at the top to squeeze your thighs from each other, navel to spine. Sip in a little bit more air. When it's time to let it go with the side, and just melt your whole body down. Then supporting yourself as you need. So that might be a block or a pillow under your left hip and help your hips be squared off. To keep that left hip supported, maybe a block under your chest. That feel a little better? Scan your body. Notice any muscle groups that are particularly hanging on, that are protecting the rest of the body. Can your breaths be a message to those muscles that they can let go? They're okay. Trusting yourself and trusting the opening process. Just 3 more breath cycles. Your shoulders. Totally present yourself. Back to your hands and knees, and again extending that left leg and getting a little shake. Animals shake all the time. We humans, we have forgotten that it is our birthright to release what we no longer need. Okay, let's come to our back. The final stretch is going to be a supine twist. Bring your knees in tight. And then drop your knees over to the right. Gazing up or to the left. That left knee stacking on top of the right. You find that you like a little more, you might wrap the left leg around the right if you're sitting in a chair. You need a little bit more support. Place a pillow in between your legs or even under the right leg. So you have a pillow underneath just to give you support so that your knees and legs can really be heavy. And therefore, so that that left shoulder can also stay rooted on the ground. Bring your awareness back to your belly. Taking those big belly breaths for 3 rounds. As each cycle helps you to deepen the twist. So to relax even more fully. Inhale back to center. Over to the other side. Yeah, you might shift your hips to the right as the knees drop to the left. Your awareness to your face, part of our body that we so often hold tension in without even realizing it. Soften your jaw, muscles around your jaw, maybe even give it a little wiggle side to side. Soften the muscles around the forehead and the eyes, in between the eyebrows. Inhale back to center. Find final rest, so known as Shavasana or corpse pose. You can find traditional Shavasana on your back, palms by your side. Maybe you like the feeling of being connected to your body, so you might place hands on your belly. Maybe today you want to come to your side or even rest on your belly. Find whatever posture you can find so that you can really feel nourished and feel supported. Last few moments of practice. We'll drop them together with a final cleansing breath. Inhale. Let it go. Big breath in. Big sigh out. Start to come back to that awareness of your body. Starting first by wiggling your fingers and toes. Circling your hands and your feet. And eventually extending the arms along the head. Stretching your whole body long. Rolling over one side to one side, finding a fetal position. So my handy yoga book teaches that, reveals that the amount of brain power allocated to the thumb is greater than that of the entire pelvic region. So the brain is dynamic and malleable. And although the number of individual neurons doesn't increase, circuitry is rapidly formed between existing neurons to meet new demands. This is the basis for muscle awakening and body clairvoyance. So as our practice progresses, our body consciousness expands. So keep coming back to this practice, back to your practice of awakening in your mind-body awareness. So to press yourself up to a C, palms come together, heart center. Then we bring our thumbs to our third eye, that place of intuition, that place of inner knowing. And in that state, we honor one another, we see one another. For the light in me, honors and bows to the light in each one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so very much.
Yeah.
Good job. Nice practice. Thank you guys for joining us online. Hope to see you again.